from Studio HQ. This is another episode of the Sunder Katz. Why Sunder? We're going to be talking about something different. In particular, in today's episode is Mad Cave Studios Part 1. And why cats? Because we are the coolest cats in town. I am Dodgy in the mix. We've got a couple of cool cats here. He is cool because he likes hip-hop, and that is Reno Noir. How are you?
What up?
And then we've got, the Mad Man, Manuel. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yes, I'm good.
Good to hear, my man. Thank you for getting the memo about the uniform that we're in the same colored shirts.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
reading
didn't get the memo.
Yeah, sorry, man. I might have left you out of that email trail, but
Yeah.
I'll do better next time. But guys, we're going to be talking about Mad Cave Studios. So Mad Cave Studios is a relatively new company. It only came out in 2014, so it's only a 7-year-old company. So
Right.
it's really good to see that they're getting a bit of fraction, a bit of buzz. And I really like the logo as well. The company has that stretch jacket with a cat inside. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's a dope logo.
It
out
really
of Miami,
is.
based out of Miami, Florida, too.
Yes,
Home team.
absolutely. And just one thing with these publishers, and something we want to bring up in the Sunder Katz is checking out the website, because that's one thing about these companies. Not only can you pick them up in your local comic book store, but you can also pick them up via the website. Have you guys checked it out, Rena? Have you checked out their website?
Yeah, it's really well put together. It's got all the comics are there. You can see the covers and choose what you want to look at. They got what stores. It's really helpful.
Definitely. How about you, Manny? How did you find the website?
Yeah, it looks pretty neat. I actually enjoyed the on my cell phone, and when I browsed it on my cell phone, and I'm looking at it on the desktop right now, and I actually enjoyed it more on the cell phone. It just looks more compact. It looks, I don't know. It looks better on the desktop. It looks pretty good, but it's just everything is spaced out more. So I don't know. But I mean, it looks really like Reno said. It looks very well put together. I did like also the subscription page. You can get the series. You can get a subscription to get the comics digitally, and you can get the subscription for the physical the trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
So that's dope. I haven't seen that, so I might incorporate that for my label.
Yeah. And I like they got the news section, and
Right.
it's cool. Different news. Stuff for Mad Cave.
100%.
Yeah, it looks
Another
pretty cool.
thing about some websites, when they go to the cell phone or mobile phone view or form, they actually don't look as good. But to know that the cell phone version is better, like in your opinion, is better, that's actually pretty good, because that means that it's multifaceted. You know what I mean?
Right. It's usually the opposite. Usually, when you try to fit so much into the cell phone version, it doesn't quite come out as right. But
it's like they made this site for mobile. It's like
exactly,
you know what I mean? They designed it for mobile, which was smart, because
that's great.
Everybody's on mobile now.
Yeah.
People read comics on their phone, and
and I mean, you can just read it here. We've got madcavestudios.com. That's where you can pick up Mad Cave Studio books. So definitely, it's good that their website is very easy to read, or just to get the name. Yeah, sometimes maybe the name's already been taken, but it's good to see it hasn't prior to creating the website. So that's pretty amazing.
Right.
Yeah. And just a bit of news as well from the Mad Cave Studio website is the fact that Mark Irwin is the new VP of Business Development. He's a writer going back a few years now.
Yeah.
For Marvel and DC. So it's good to see someone with a bit of knowledge.
Ooh, a fellow Joe Kubert student.
Yeah.
I went to the Kubert school for a year.
Oh, congrats!
So
man. I didn't know that, Manny. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it was a cool experience.
They were cool. Yeah. They did. Mad Cave did in 2018. They did a talent search for new comic book writers and artists, and the finalists, worked on the comics for Mad Cave, and they have the comic book Show's End was the first title to feature work from the 2018 talent show winners. which launched in August 2019. But the talent search, which ran again in 2019 for writers and artists, I don't know if that's a thing that publishers do or if that's something just Mad Cave did that was unique, but I'd never heard of it before. I think it's pretty cool. Gives a chance for like people that, that might not know the right people that can actually, to be able to get their foot in the door. You know what I mean? Like, because who doesn't want to be, a comic writer and artist, but it's like being in the NBA. It's like being an actor or a musician or anything. It's like you got to know the right people. So
Damn right.
doing that, gave a chance to, anybody. So that was cool.
No, 100%. You might be just responsible for just writing like a 6-page anthology series, and that could be your stepping stone of, of bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when publishers do this. And I don't know, Reno, I thought based on reading that it maybe if Mad Cave can actually jump in and reiterate to us, but I thought it was an annual thing that Mad Cave are doing. The talent search.
It could be, it could be that they started it in 2018. I mean, I know they did it in 2019. I don't know if they did it in 2020 or anything, but that was probably COVID. Maybe they took a COVID break. Like everything else did.
Case. Yeah, because that's the thing. If they're not making money off the books, it's hard to try to spend the money to publish new titles
to justify. Yeah.
But it'll be definitely interesting to see. So now, guys, we're going to be jumping into the books.
Nice.
So first book we're going to be talking about today is Bountiful Gardens. So this is a horror adventure series. What were your thoughts on this one, Reno?
Oh man, like where to begin? There's a lot to say about this one. It's it's an odd one. The first issue is almost beat for beat opening sequence to the film Alien, 1979. You have an eclectic crew of workers, each with special training, awoken from hibernation before they're due because of a mysterious event on their journey. When they research to find out what's going on, the source of the mystery stems from a nearby planet, and the planet doesn't seem hospitable to life, but they do find a structure there. And if you're going to replicate the story beats of another property, you could do worse than picking a seminal classic in the realm of sci-fi horror, and to be fair, it's very common to build on previous works when the model has proven to work so well. So I'm not saying anything bad at all. The value comes in when you can take that model and spin it in a fresh way. In other words, same is okay as long as the story mixes in enough different to make it stand apart, which they definitely did. And, if we look at what's different from Alien 1979, that's where the story gets a little odd. Like I don't know how deep we want to go into talking about the spoilers and, or the story itself. But also this is a space horror, and yet we really never get a look at their ship from the outside or the aforementioned, planet. But spoilers ahead, just for, to let everybody know, but the crew of the Jemison terraforming unit 11 are awoken from the hypersleep 8 years too early. And like I said, each crew member gets their legs under them. Panic sets in when they realize something's wrong, and they realize that they got to go to this nearby planet, and the engines can be repaired because they're so far out from their destination. They don't have enough supplies to complete the trip before starving to death. It's never explained why they can't go back to sleep after repairing the engines and heading back out on the course, and it seems an odd point not to address, but just it's a strange twist on Alien. The kids for the crew and the horror that's possible based on plants. While the pacing is good, the story beats are familiar in a positive way. The new story points are odd and not well explained yet. This is issue number 1, so of course we it's gonna develop. But I loved it, dude. I dug the hell out of it.
Nice. And what did you think of it creatively, Manny, in terms of the art style?
Well, the art style hooked me from page 1. There's something. It's the way that the panels are structured is not quite perfect. You can see the line. You can see it's almost an uneasiness to it. That it works. It works for the story perfectly. I
Yeah.
feel.
Definitely.
Because if this type of story is a horror story, and is the main characters are kids, so if you have a too much of a clean line, I think it'll make it look too kiddie, and you don't want to do that in the type of story that we're that Bountiful
Yeah.
Garden is. Yeah, you want it to be, you want it to give you that sense of something is not quite right, and obviously as we keep reading, we find out.
Yeah, true. Because I mean, you mentioned before about the comparison with Alien 1979 is the fact that most of that movie was actually filmed within the ship or within a confined
Right.
structure. That it actually makes sense to have that sort of claustrophobia element as well. Like like you're in this, you're basically in there with the crew.
Right.
We're not looking at it from outside in. We're looking at it from inside within. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of horror I like, because we need to have that bit of uneasiness. We need a bit of that uncertainty, because if everything is explained, then it takes away the element of what a horror story should be. So this is definitely one for the horror. It's a sci-fi horror mystery drama set in the year 2200, so a few years away. I don't know how old I'll be at that time, but hopefully it's still a spring chicken. Just but definitely want to check out. And the next book that I've got here is a samurai series. It's actually written by Mark London, who is the CEO of Mad Katz. So we've actually got the CEO like leading by example, right? You know, he's in there creating books himself, not just sitting behind the desk and doing his own thing. This is amazing. This book is set in Edo, Japan, so during feudal period when samurai ruled for Japan for nearly 300 years. So in this book, we've got Mark London going from vampire killing to samurai. Not too many CEOs, deliver two books a month. What were your thoughts, Reno?
This is my type of thing. I mean, this was completely, right up my alley. Like you said, Mark London delivers a Japanese epic with katana killings that would make Samurai Jack blush. I feel a kinship with this main character, like the warrior Genshi. I've never been in a samurai fight before, but I'm like a shinobi on a quest every day. I skip breakfast and I seek out my next favorite comic. Could this be it? I picked up this book with high expectations. Mad Cave has other titles that I love. Honor and Curse checks many of the boxes with enough blood for a vampire rave and more hacked limbs than a Star Wars game without parental controls. The content is mature. Adult themes, violence, sexual innuendo make the target audience clear. First readers can appreciate strong voices for female and male characters, especially the rebellious Akemi. And I'm looking forward to learning more about a group of murderous kunoichi, which is female ninja, running wild. And these kunoichi are only mentioned in the first issue, but it seems that they're giving the male lords nerves as tight as their top knots. And is it bad that I'm already rooting for them? Mark London keeps the stakes high with a mysterious protagonist, forbidden love, and the constant threat of death lurking at the end of each page. Salamanca and Takino's artwork is stellar, and a visual feast for the eyes. I give it a 10 out of 10, like super dope. I recommend you pick it up ASAP. Waste no time. Now, this is my kind of thing.
How about you, Manny? What were your thoughts on this title?
I honestly, when I first saw the cover, first of all the covers look amazing. And the art, to me, the artwork is kind of like hit and miss, and it's because I don't the artist didn't quite. I feel like he didn't quite know if he wanted to draw a full manga or American style, so he was kind of like a hybrid. which it looks cool. It looks cool, but it kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, it's samurai story, ninja story, and I'm all into I'm all into that. I love that, and I'm a history freak. I love anything anything that has to do with history, so I was into it. It's just the hour didn't quite hit 100% with me, so I don't know.
Yeah, and look, sometimes the art could not be what you expect or what you like, but at times you can forgive it if the story is amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you might give it surrender to the fact that the story is amazing, and you can overlook the artwork.
Yeah.
But I did find you're right in
love
some ways. Sometimes it has that photorealistic look.
Right.
Sometimes manga. Sometimes Americanized.
Yeah.
But in saying that, though, I mean, the art is like, in terms of the violence and the action that you see in it, is one for the samurai fans. Like if you love those movies,
Right.
Absolutely. And yeah, like I love manga. I'm trying to get more into manga. See, my son is really into manga, like big time. That's his thing. And I'm, comics. And, so we're always comparing and arguing which is better and things like that. But I really dig, that's kind of what I liked about it, is the fact that it was teetering on the two different, styles and kind of making its own thing. But
in between.
It was hit or miss, but for the most part I liked it.
Yeah. And one thing I do like about, especially with Mad Cave as well, is the interiors when you turn the first 2 pages. We got the content, for example, we've got the credits list. Like that scene there is absolutely gorgeous with the
it looks amazing.
Yeah. And usually it goes for a couple of pages. So you get this, and also there's another interior piece where might have, maybe the author giving credits out, and those pages look absolutely gorgeous, like something you could find on a tablecloth in Japan. They just have that clean, beautiful, hand painted look to it. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
It does. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's the thing. It's very welcoming when you open a couple of pages, seeing that, because you almost like. It's almost like watching a movie. You just see the credits going until you actually get into the movie. You kind of get that little bit of like excitement.
Yeah. The build up.
Yeah, the build up. That's it. Yeah, so amazing. So we're moving on to a different book now, also written by Mark London, and this is Wolvenheart. So, this book is loaded with gore and its adventures with werewolves and vampires. Kind of up my alley, because I love those kinds of movies, especially like the Return of the Lycans and things like that. I really, really dug it. I mean, seriously, what's not to like, Rena? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like that's definitely my kind of thing. I can't think of the franchise, the Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld.
That's it. Yes, that escapes me. Yes.
Lycans, yeah, right. I mean, in a few years, Mad Cave has pushed out a continuous stream of comics after the sellout success of Nottingham. Is no doubt, we will be hearing a lot more from them, as they try to capitalize on this run. And Wolvenheart combines, all of that good stuff. And I just, like I said, this is my type of thing. You've got a roster of literary characters fighting supernatural threats, kind of like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type of thing, with the time travel and bureaucracy of Loki's TVA, like the Loki show. The big difference is these guys are trying to muck up the timeline actively. Wolvenheart features a strong world of favorite Victorian characters in a new world. And while they travel through the past and the future, the style remains Victorian, albeit with Wolvenheart having computer situation rooms, and the variants of the characters keep it interesting, particularly with the very dark Romeo and Juliet. London clearly plotted out this world and its rules, creating an immersive experience. Geraldo and Sahadawa, I'm going to say that, his art feels unique to the series. Geraldo draws monsters well, particularly werewolves, and I look forward to what other monstrosities he's gonna come up with. And Saharawa's color palette varies greatly with the setting, creating vibrant settings, which I feel specific to the scene. And again, this is a hella dope. I say 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Buy this. It's a fun world to jump into, full of adventure. If you love like literary characters turned into action heroes, this is definitely something you're gonna dig.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Manny, what were your thoughts on this?
To be honest, I like the story. I love anything vampires or werewolves. I love it. The one thing that bothered me was the very first page that it said that it was in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole thing, me being such a history freak like I am, I could not get into it because everything I saw was not from the 1800s. That's me looking at it from my history perspective. Like the doctors are not dressed right. They have too much technology for the 1800s.
Yeah.
And I could not get that out of my head. If I swear, if they wouldn't have put that date there, I would have loved this story. But I could not. I kept going back to that damn date. I was like, why did they put 1800s there? Because everything else look amazing. Like I said, anything werewolves, I'm all for it. The main the hunter he looks cool.
Yeah.
The thing that made me chuckle though, the name was Sterling Cross. That made me laugh out loud, but just the name. But it's cool. But that was the only thing. That I think they had too much technology for the time period that it was supposed to be set in. But besides that, and the artwork was great. And like Reno said, I can't wait to see what they other monsters and stuff they come up with.
They got Nikola Tesla as the tech guy, but
Right.
it's a time travel, timeline thing where they mess up the timeline and damage the timeline and all that, and it's just like got a lot of time travel stuff,
Right.
with bringing stuff from the future into the past and stuff like that.
That could be why there's so much technology.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right,
if they
right.
explained it a bit more, that might have been, I guess, easier to fathom. But who knows? Maybe further down the track, when the next lot of series come out, they might actually emphasize that a bit more. But definitely, I mean, that was definitely a different twist to what Mark London had from the previous title that we talked about.
Yeah, that's true.
Curse. So yeah, it's a different type of book. But yeah, it's great to see the CEO or the guy in charge actually jumping in and writing a couple of books. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So one thing about Mad Cave, Reno has been really, really emphasizing this book in particular because he really wanted to. From the very get when we thought of Sunder Katz, we were thinking of what publisher we would like to talk about. First thing Reno said was Nottingham. So that's not even a publisher, but that's actually part of this show, part of Mad Cave Studios. So, without last but not least, we're going to be talking about this title that Reno can't stop talking about. So this is a medieval series with a twist on the Robin Hood mythos. But Reno, the sheriff of Six Element Ham, is going to be sharing with us his thoughts. Bro, the floor is all yours.
No, it's just Robin Hood was always a kind of a storyline, a genre that I always dug ever since a little kid. The Disney, with the foxes and all that. Like from then to Kevin Costner's horrible accent in the whole speaking with the American accent, and it was a great movie like that. And then
it was.
We had the recent one with
Jamie Foxx.
No, Gladiator. Was it?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, that was a phenomenal Robin Hood. But to see this, it kind of it takes it and it flips it from the point of view of the sheriff, Nottingham itself. So whereas instead of looking at them as the bad guy and Robin Hood's the hero, it's more of like he's like a terrorist in this one. He's like, a murderer. He sets Hazan sets a mood for Nottingham where the reader roots for the least despicable character. Throughout the issue of number 1, the reader sees the brutality on all sides of a political conflict. The merry men sing tunes of charity as they commit heinous murder, even as victims beg for their lives. The Sheriff Blackthorn is hardly a step up, threatening Maid Marian and not seeming to be very popular, even among his own men. And that leaves Robin Hood, who can act kindly while hiding in plain sight. Even then, though, he is as ruthless as everyone else in the series, more willing to assassinate than fight. He's just the most professional of the bunch by trying to, tie up loose ends to see his goal through. Volk's art has a very clever use with the 3-act structures within Nottingham 1 to convey small moments in sequence. The first pages demonstrate the character traits of the merry men and how they operate. In the first depiction, one of the merry men shows himself to be extremely ruthless and sadistic by mercilessly stabbing a helpless victim, sets the tone. The introduction gives the reader a good idea on what the mood is going to be, and the brutality of the act distracts the readers to the point where they assume this merry man speaks for the rest. And then within another segment on the next page comes a reversal. Another merry man employs a less brutal but still deadly kill. When the reader learns that this later merry man is Robin Hood, it sets up a heavy contrast between him and his followers. Just how his cloak flows in the shadows makes him more akin to a phantom, which makes him twice as threatening. And Romano's coloring provides a glimpse into the plot activities. Bright lights kind of evoke information sources. And then this leads either directly towards the sheriff's brutal interrogations or Robin revealing himself from a merry man mask, which is kind of like a Guy Fawkes mask. And as for the lettering, Gill smartly uses SFX to link moments in the reader's minds and help develop characters and themes. The only confusing piece of lettering in Nottingham 1 is when a flash of lightning strikes over the sheriff and merry men clashing swords, and what becomes a simple shing sound when you would expect an explosive boom. It's just a minor distraction, though. But Nottingham 1 has the makings of an interesting fantasy with morally questionable characters and a mood to match. And, of course, this is the beginning of the series. I've gotten pretty deep into it just because, like I said, Robin Hood was always kind of my thing. And I just really dug seeing the different perspective and kind of seeing a darker, maybe even more realistic Robin Hood than we've ever seen, that you would ever see, because he's always been, made out to be this, happy-go-lucky hero, and people just weren't like that back then. You know what I mean? Like, especially, in that sort of situation, things were very brutal. Like everyone knows, like medieval times was gruesome. It was brutal. Yeah,
it was.
And so, but I was, well, no, I guess I'm not gonna say that part because I don't want to ruin it. But yeah, man, I can't say it enough, man. I really dig Nottingham. It's just the art is so weird that it's just dope to me. I love when it's it's weird. It's bizarre that the people look kind of weird. Like there you go. See, they have like these little heads, big bodies. It's just, but I don't know, man. It's just something about it just really kind of speaks to me.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if they made this into a TV series, I would really like to see the guy who plays the Hound from Game of Thrones play the
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Because he has that appearance of an antagonist.
Yeah.
But you would actually like him if he's a good guy.
Right.
Do you know what I
mean?
mean?
You kind of did like the Hound towards the end of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, of course. I love the Hound.
Yeah,
I'm glad we all watched Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, dude. Matter of fact, I just finished the last episode 3 nights ago. I rewatch it every year. That's my favorite show. I watch it from episode 1 on, and I just got to the end of it.
Yeah, but all right, Manny, what were your thoughts?
I think this is the crown jewel of Mad Cave Studios. Everything about this story is amazing. Just the artwork. Yeah, Reno said, it looks kind of weird, or I absolutely love this for this story. It's just it gives it that special touch. It's almost like it's hard for me because I love Robin Hood, and I have that ideology of him being the perfect, good guy,
Yeah,
and to see him this. I mean, he's not even bad. He's a psychopath in this story, and he's just there's no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And like Reno was saying, even the sheriff, he's not a good guy.
yeah,
Nobody is a good guy in the story, and yeah, in those times, that's more realistic. It was everybody was out for themselves. It was a very hard time, very hard living. Um, and I loved it. I love the story. I actually read the from these comics that we were reviewing. I read that trade paper. I read in one sitting. Boom! I read everything and I loved it. Um, yeah, I have no negative thoughts whatsoever. To me, it's 10 out of 10. Seriously.
Yeah, like there's no need to apologize for the art here because it works. It really does. There's a like it's like when you talk grit, this is 100% gritty, and you're absolutely right. This is a world where it's either killed or be killed.
Exactly.
You know, and I love the fact that like I said, like the guy who plays the Hound should play him if it were a movie or a TV series because he has that that aura about him, whereas like you can hate him, but also you will root for him as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you're right, and I just love the just the thought of it being reversed is just so original.
Yeah,
it's extremely original.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This is the crown jewel. Without a shadow of a doubt for Mad Cave. This is their, this is something that could be really made into a movie or TV.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yes.
I would love to see it as an animated show with this art style. That would be really dope. But look at this is Little John.
Right.
Bloody can we play that? Can you make that bigger?
Yeah.
Like you on your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks dope.
There you go. Yeah, I mean they've got these crazy masks and that's Little John. They just got him looking so brutal.
Yeah, wow.
The sheriff sitting there on
the
masks.
It's funny you say that the masks look like Guy Fawkes mask. It's almost like a Guy Fawkes and the Joker mix.
Right.
Well, the Cheshire Cat.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I saw that mask on that cover, I didn't really know what to make of it until I saw Merryman wearing it. Mary means happy. You know what I mean? Like that just really made sense. Yeah.
There you go.
That's crazy. But yeah, I just love the line that he has here in this image that I'm just showing you guys. It says "fucking ginger."
Yeah,
it looks amazing. It almost looks like dirty, but that's I would imagine that's what it was living in those times. It was just dirty and muddy and just disgusting.
Yeah. No, like I'm a history buff too. Like I definitely am heavy, like because I think medieval stuff, from Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings and all that stuff from when I was a little kid kind of made me get into it. And like I was, an actor in the medieval fair, the human chess match and all that when I was a kid. Like I was deep into that medieval stuff. So it was like a very brutal time. Like we think like, oh man, it would be cool to like be a knight or something like that. You did not want to live back then.
Nope.
No, sir. One of the worst times.
No,
like the Roman times, like things were kind of good. Like people had figured out plumbing and aqueducts and stuff like that, and it just all got lost with the sort of the barbarians, I guess you could call them, or
we'll call it the Dark Ages.
Yeah, Dark Ages,
the Dark Ages. That's why they call them that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, guys, like we've got some amazing books. And like you might know from the heading that this episode is part 1 of Mad Cave. So down the track, we'll be doing a part 2. And hopefully with a part 2, we might get in either an editor or a publisher on board to actually to be on the show with us. But definitely at this moment, guys, thank you so much for watching the latest episode of the Sunder Katz. And remember to check us out at comiccrusaders.com. Click the like and subscribe. Get the notifications down below. But just remember, Sunder.
Sunder Katz. Yo!
We got to work on that, guys.
We
All
are
right.
nerds. Jesus Christ.
See you later.
Yo, peace.
Peace.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along with all of the websites of the Comic Crusaders family. As always, if you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel.